That is what champions do. That is the definition of a champion's win. Liverpool still nowhere near their best this season. Still nowhere near the scintillating, swashbuckling qualities we came to see in the last campaign. But the fourth game on the bounce, a late to last minute winner. It's in their DNA. It's in their makeup. They never know when they're defeated. A moment of madness. Jamie Carragher called it right. A brain-dead moment from Hannibal, concedes a ridiculous penalty with 2 minutes on the clock to go, because I don't think Liverpool would have scored tonight, rightly or wrongly. We'll talk about the red card as well on the show, but Liverpool come up trumps again. They get it done. They get it over the line, and I've called it this before, and I'll call it again. That is the definition, the epitome. You look in the dictionary at what champions win means. And it's, look, with all due respect to the smaller teams and the smaller clubs, this is something that's earmarked for the superstar football teams, the giant clubs, the world class, the generational boxers, MMA fighters, whatever it may be, who can just pull something out of nowhere. And that is what Liverpool did. Of course, there is a conversation to be had about Liverpool's performances. Are there concerns amongst Liverpool fans? I want to hear from you. I want to know what your thoughts, your feelings, and your opinions are in the comment section on that. And I see a lot of Liverpool fans saying, I don't even dare, Terry. What do you mean, don't even dare? I don't even understand what you are talking about. But it says rivals cry, and rivals should be feeling in pain today. I think you can look at all 4 games for Liverpool. And if you talk performance, and I'm not, listen, it's a champions win, and teams like Liverpool do it. Performances, though, we're not just going to ignore performances because it's Liverpool. If you look at the performances of the first 4 games, there's an argument to make that Liverpool should have walked away with 4 points maximum. But instead, they have 12. And when they find their form, when they find their feet, when they start to perform to a higher level, these 4 wins are going to yield so much fruit. They're going to pay so much dividends. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And listen, I can hate on it. I could be bitter about it. I could say it's not sustainable. But I also know that Liverpool won't keep performing like this. I know the performances are going to get better. It is as simple and it is as straightforward as that. There's no if buts. There's no maybes about it. They are going to get better, Liverpool. I'm so sure of that. But they did it again. Wow. Remember, there was no Isak. Yeah, look, Isak still to come into this team, but I think it's bigger than that. And we'll jump into it. But I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. That is what champions do. That is what the best teams in the world do. It is part of Liverpool's DNA. It's part of their fabric. It's part of their history, late goals. It just is. And there was a stat that went round when Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And it was the fact that people couldn't believe Liverpool had actually scored more goals in the Premier League era when Fergie was here in the 90th plus minute than Man United did. It was just that United were the better team and won the trophies and the accolades were there. But I'm just not sitting here surprised. I'm not sitting here in shock. This is why they're the best team in England. It's why they're the favourites for the Premier League. There is a know-how, there is a belief, there is something that is almost, I want to say tacit. That may not be the right word, but I don't even know if it's a belief the players always consciously have. I almost feel like it's a belief that is just ingrained within you. I'll give you an example. A domesticated cat, okay, doesn't think about hunting because it's never hungry. Domesticated dogs don't really think, most of them, most breeds, don't think about hunting and killing something because they're never hungry and they're domesticated. But every now and then, it happens a lot with cats, I'll see a bird and their prey instinct will kick in. Dogs, every now and then it will happen with. My dog is a German Shepherd, right? They're called, everyone sees them as police dogs and guard dogs, they are, but actually, originally, they were sheep dogs. My dog, when he was a puppy, loved sheep. He hit a certain age where something just went bang. I think he wants to maul them, right? So I don't let him near them. And I feel like Liverpool's players have this within them. Sometimes it's almost dormant. Oh, they look like they're going to drop points. It looks like it's going to end. And they just find a way. Something clicks at a particular moment. And this instinct comes out that I don't even know they always believe they have. Players that have just joined, players that have been there 5 years, players that come through the academy. I don't know how to articulate it, but it's real. Just, you can't touch it. It isn't tangible to look at, to touch, but like gravity, it's there. And I don't think it can be denied. Now, look, in terms of Liverpool's performance, it wasn't great today. Lots of the ball, 27 shots on goal, but only 4 on target. And I think Liverpool fans, once they've calmed down, once they've had their moment, they'll be disappointed with that. They'll be disappointed having 81% of the ball and 4 attempts on goal. Not really challenging Dubravka, who's not a great goalkeeper, let's be honest. And I think Liverpool fans will have some cause for concern and will do what they can to encourage their team and push their team to perform better and create chances. Because I do feel that this Liverpool team, with all the signings, and it was something that was posed as a question to Husam on our panels on the Football Terrace this summer, and it was very much, how do you think Liverpool are going to cope with all these new players coming in? And Husam's answer, which I took at face value, and a lot of Liverpool fans agreed with it, is that, well, we've got the core. The core of the club is staying. The core of the title-winning team is staying. We're going to be okay. I think Liverpool have looked a little bit disjointed because of the amount of new signings that have come in, to a point where Szoboszlai is starting at right back instead of a young right back in Bradley or Frimpong, because I think Slot recognises he's got to keep some continuity as these relationships build. I personally think Kerkez needs to have some games on the bench for Liverpool. He does not look ready to be a Liverpool player yet, and there is a different pressure. And I spoke about this at large, that if Isak scores 20 goals for Liverpool this year and Wissa scores 20 goals for Newcastle, Isak's goals are better. Without even reviewing them, they're better because he's doing them at a bigger club and the pressure's harder. It is easier when you're a good player in a good team like Newcastle to score goals than it is under the pressure of playing for Liverpool. You have to be an obscene talent. And this is, I take that from anecdotal conversations that you hear pros have. But whenever a player joins one of the giants, one of the juggernauts of football, they will tell you the pressure is different, the atmosphere is different, the media attention is different. For instance, look at the difference in attention that Wissa's getting compared to Isak for forcing a move, when it was very, very similar behavior, in my personal opinion. But that's another conversation for another day. Kerkez, I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he is quite on the level to play and deliver in this Liverpool team. I feel very similarly with Wirtz, and maybe when Isak's fit, there's something the manager will do. Maybe there's something it will do in that regard. Because again, he ran a lot today, had some good touches. One thing that will help Wirtz when it comes to criticism, and this is a positive for him, is he passes the eye test even when he isn't doing too much. And when you pass the eye test, you do get away. It's a little bit, like good-looking men and women get away with a little bit more when they're bad at their job or they're not doing a good job. They can smile a little bit or they're a little cheeky and they get away with it. That the ugly person, that 32 stone spotty fat man doesn't quite get away with it in the same way. But I don't think he's quite ready yet for the Premier League. He needs a bit of muscle. He needs a bit of time to settle. And you add these players in that are not quite clicking. And I actually think Mo Salah is nowhere near his level at the moment either. And he's been there a while. Now, I'm not blaming the new contract. I'm not going to do that low IQ nonsense. So the few seasoned pros are not playing that well. A few new signings are not quite settled. And Liverpool are just not quite at the races. But 4 games running. Basic last-minute winners. You can't bet against them, can you? Can you bet against them? Some are going to say this isn't sustainable. I agree if the performances stay at this level. If what we've seen in the last 4 games lasts another 34 matches, Liverpool won't win the league because they won't win every game with the last kick of the ball. That's an impossibility at every single level. It just is. But I don't think. I'll just read the comment here. No, I stand by what I've said. If Liverpool's performances stay like this for the next 34 games, they don't win the league. But they're not going to play like this for 34 games. They will start playing better, being better, creating better opportunities. This is going to happen. I feel it's almost inevitable that it will happen, which is why I think for Chelsea, why I think for Arsenal, why I think for Manchester City, these opening 4 games of the season must be so painful from a title challenging aspect, because Liverpool will probably, I still think it's going to take them another 7 or 8 games from this point. A lot of people thought they beat Arsenal, watch them fly after the international break. I thought that could be true. I'm looking at it now. I think another 5-6 games where they may have a few hairy moments and not quite smashing teams they should be smashing. But they will click. But I don't know if they're going to drop very many points in those next 5, 6, 7 games as they're finding their feet. I don't think they're going to be dropping points everywhere. And that is the pain. That is the fear factor. That is a sobering moment for rivals. And I'm talking title rivals here. It's horrible for me to see as a Man United fan, but I'm not trying to win the title this year. I know my club's going to be nowhere near it. So that element isn't painful. But it's the fact that this Liverpool team is almost impossible to beat right now. Almost impossible to beat. Almost impossible to stop scoring. Well, in fact, only once in the last year have they not scored. So for the last calendar year, it has been impossible to stop them scoring in the Premier League. And as I stated at the beginning of the season, and I feel today is an element of vindication to this opinion, it's going to take one of the best managerial performances of their careers, maybe a Premier League history, from a Mikel Arteta or even a Pep, to win this Premier League title, because Liverpool are simply that good. They're simply at an outstanding level. We've only seen this a handful of times in the Premier League. We saw Pep's, let's see, Centurions were good, but they competed against no one. And the league was very weak back then. Even Klopp's Liverpool weren't very good back then. Pep's treble-winning team and four-peat team, one of the greatest English football's ever seen. Man United between sort of 07 and 09. Man United's treble-winning team that went on to do a three-peat. Chelsea's back-to-back title winners. This Liverpool team is on their level. On their level. And by the way, forget points. I don't care that maybe one of Pep's teams got more points or one of Jose's teams got more points or had a better defensive. I don't care about those records. These teams are all in this league of their own. This Liverpool team is that good. Do you know how I know this? Because all those teams I've mentioned could go 3, 4, 5 games where they weren't very good, but they were still winning. They get those late winners, those champions wins. It's why I call them it. I've recognized it and seen it my whole life. And this is just a fantastic level indeed. It really, really is. And there'll be some cause for concern from Liverpool fans. I don't think you've got much to worry about at all. I think you're clicking in the next in the next handful of games, like I mentioned. You're still winning and you're hurting rivals. But look, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on this in the comments section below. We're going to bring the panel out in a minute because obviously the big Manchester derby kicks off soon. But hit like buttons, make sure you're subscribing and get that bell notification button turned on as well. I think we may have had a few super chats that came in, and I'm going to bring the panel out. This here says Maka starting today was wrong as well for me. Subbed maybe. Look, I think McAllister was hurt by that challenge early in the game. Still not sure why this wasn't a red card. Still not sure why this wasn't given as a red card for me. And what I find really interesting, I keep the energy 100% because Liverpool fans watching, this is what's going to happen. You are going to be shown by rivals screenshots of 2 or 3 tackles from Van Dijk that were similar. That's what's going to happen. Okay. How do I know? Some people like me invented this game, not football, the social media game. You've got to remember, you're talking to a pioneer here, right? You're talking to a founding father. I keep it 100. I said those ones of Van Dijk should have been red cards as well. So I'm saying these ones are red cards. I'm not doing tit for tat. I'm just keeping it 100. It is an absolute stonewall red card in the modern day game. I don't care that he touched the ball first. That isn't within the rules. It's crazy. So yeah, it should have been off the pitch. Bermuda Guna here says you're giving Liverpool way too much credit. I don't think I am giving Liverpool too much credit. I've criticized how they're playing, but I know and believe they're going to get better. They're not going to perform at this level for much longer. They're going to get... I think it's more likely they get better than stay at this level or get worse. On the balance of probability alone, Liverpool, with what they've spent, how good they are, how good their manager is it likely to remain at this level, get worse, or get better? I'm going with get better. Why the different energy from yesterday? Burnley are worse than Brentford and there was a robbery and Burnley went down to 10 men. Why the different energy? Because I know what Liverpool are capable of. So remember, the energy is different because not every single football team is a monolith. Not every single football team is identical to each other. We are not all equal. We're not all the same. So therefore, my view and my opinions are different. I haven't seen this Chelsea team under this ownership, with this manager, with this group of players, win a Premier League title. I haven't seen them do it. Equally, if Liverpool would have taken that lead with that penalty, and then Burnley went down the other end from a throw-in, and Liverpool marked badly and conceded, I'd call them out for throwing those points away. But that didn't happen. It was kind of the other way around. Equally, I addressed the you shouldn't have conceded. VAR made a mistake. I didn't know that because Sky Sports didn't show the replay of it when I was watching it on TV. During the show, you heard me call it out, my friend. You were there super chatting. Moyes bus pulls up next week will be interesting. Yeah, listen, Moyes' Everton team, again, right now, you've got a chance against Liverpool on the counter. Until they click and get into full gear and start scoring more goals, you've got a chance against them. A small one, but a chance. I don't get people. Burnley parked in their half and people think we have to cross the balls in. Impatient build-up is key. Good teams at home attack. Listen, Burnley were good today, but Burnley can't attack you and be open and leave themselves wide at the back. That would be stupidity. Liverpool getting that sorry tax from the Coots saga. Listen, my man, that was a penalty. Come on now. Slot is really good at subs. They win him games. By the way, I was ready. I had a note here on my notepad. Wherever my notepad's gone. I think I threw it when Liverpool scored the penalty. I was like, fuck's sake. I was going to say, I thought that Rio and Frimpong actually came on too late because they both look really dangerous. And I'm sitting there going, oh, if he gave them 10, 15 more minutes, could have won the game, but they did. Champions pen, champions win. Terry, we scanned a dub. It feels so good. Yeah, I'm not. This is why I'm pushing back against the modern day football language online. I don't like. Listen, everyone's entitled to do what they want in their world, but the Football Terrace community is my world. And I know you're saying it sarcastically. They ain't scamming a win, man. It's champions win. Because I can't flag it off. Otherwise, I'm undoing my own club's history. Wrong lineup. Frimpong should be at right back. Slobberslide midfield. Group, please. Group play, please. Thank you very much. And Daniel here says, some teams will sit in like today. We need to do better at unlocking and breaking them down. A win is a win, but we must improve. Cobham to Liverpool's. Well, that was from last night, actually. Sorry. Well, Man United's academy to the rescue today. I'll tell you that much. Right, let's bring the panel back because we've got about 15 minutes max before the United game starts, and I will just be leaving. I'll leave you lot talking, but I'm fucking off when the game starts. I'm telling you that now. Who we got on the show here with me right now? We've got Husam, we've got Rak, we've got Ash, we've got Samuel. Welcome back to the show, gents. I'm going to go to yourself first, Husam. Mo Salah stepping up in the last seconds of the game to win it, but it was a close one.
This was the stinky as fuck 3 points, I'll be honest with you. This is just not good at all. But we have to be honest. Liverpool fans are honest. I'm sure everyone on the panel will agree. We don't do the Arsenal fans thing. We're the most honest fan base about our club on the Football Terrace, and I would like us to remain this way. To be honest with you, I think the way that we played today, the performance, unacceptable from a perspective of you can't beat Burnley in the 95th minute. The performance is just not good enough. You have to be able to unlock low blocks. The performance in the final third for me needs to get a lot better. You know, the likes of Wirtz for me today wasn't good in the final third. Szoboszlai wasn't good in the final third. The wingers needed to do a lot better. I agree that the substitutions made us a lot better, but I also agree with Terry. They should have came on a lot earlier, in my opinion. A lot earlier. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to know that, you know, there were players having bad games that needed to be subbed off. I get Slot never subbing off Mo. I agree with that. I think he can win you a game in any moment, just like Arteta doesn't sub off Saka, just like Maresca doesn't sub off Palmer. You keep those players on because in case they do something at any moment in time. So I get that. But other than that, I think everyone else on the pitch should have been like could have been subbed off. I think he took off, and in reverse, I think he took off Ekitike way too early for me. I think there was no need to take Ekitike that early off. And the other thing I will criticize as well, I feel like I don't know why Slot didn't bring Isak to the game. Now, I understand he's not match fit. I understand he's not ready to play 90 minutes. But I said this pre-game, God forbid if something does happen, you can at least give him 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It would have been great to bring Isak on like in the 80th minute, 75th minute. They give him 15 minutes to build up his fitness. But for me, look, this is the team that we all agree, when we all did our predictions, everyone put Burnley 20th. Okay? Now, we had 82% possession. We had like 25, 26 attempts. Great. Performance-wise, we weren't like dreadful or ass or shit or anything. But it's just in the final third, we need to understand how to unlock a low block, and we need to do it a lot better. And this is something that we have to be genuine about. Pre-game, I predicted 4-0 Liverpool, 5-0 Liverpool, because Burnley aren't good enough. This guy's club absolutely destroyed them at Old Trafford, like from an XG difference perspective and everything. So we should have done a lot better in the final third. It's not like Dubravka made like 500 good saves. He made an incredible save from Szoboszlai. I think he made an incredible save from someone else who had like a shot from far. But other than that, we should have created a lot better chances. But at the end of the day, look, we're playing like shit, and we're 12 points from 12. So the only thing I will say is, and this is where I'm going to be balanced to the other side of the argument, this is where I will come around and agree with Terry's opinion. If we're this stinky and we're 12 points from 12, what happens when we stop being stinky? That's the $1 million question that everyone needs to be asking themselves. What happens when Florian Wirtz eventually steps it up? Because I do believe he will eventually step it up. Again, today, he wasn't the best on the football pitch. I think Salah gave him the ball 2-3 times in dangerous positions. He couldn't make decisive decisions. I think he just needs to understand, this is the Premier League, habibi. We play fast over here. We don't have time for this. Like, yalla, chop. Let's go. It's just you have to go like this. You have to go like this in the Prem. And I'm very happy with the 3 points, relieved really more than anything, but performances do have to step up with games coming thick and fast. Everton next week are also going to play a low block. We can't rely on a penalty in the 94th minute to beat Everton. Same thing with Atletico Madrid this Wednesday. Football Terrace will be there on the match reaction, inshallah. You get me? You think Simeone is going to come to Anfield and play sexy football? He's going to be defensive too. So you're going to have to be able to unlock that. So, yeah, I think for me, 3 points saved the embarrassment more than anything else. But performance-wise, all great up until we got to the final third. Like, we got to the final third and we just became clueless today, in my opinion. So, yeah, but 3 points is 3 points. Relief more than anything, really.
I hear that. Rack, how do you see it, mate? How do you see this? Because there are some Liverpool fans saying, yeah, I'm not worried, we're going to get better. Rivals are saying, but it's... yes, you're winning, but the performances are bad and this isn't sustainable. How do you view today's game coupled with your performance, Rack?
Well, I mean, I agree with all those opinions, including Husam's. Like, we will get better. I don't doubt we'll get better. The performances are worrying. I think I would have expected us in the 4 games that we've played so far, plus the Community Shield, to be performing better. Maybe that's unrealistic. I don't know. We have had a lot of change over the summer, but we've bought quality, and I think when you buy quality, you expect less time to transition to good performances, but that hasn't happened. Right now, the most important things is the results, absolutely. And if we keep taking the 3 points, I'm not going to complain too much, but we were close to not taking the 3 points today, and that's why it's important that we should be aware of that. Like, one of the things that I expected Wirtz to be more integral. And I think one of the reasons why I thought we would adapt more quickly is because he's the kind of guy, he's the gel between all these distinct components that I hoped would bring it together. So now that hasn't really happened. He is dropping deep, he is linking play, so is Ekatike, and I thought that would improve again, but it hasn't improved enough. Don't get me wrong, Burnley, they came with a solid game plan, they were resolute, they didn't really look to create anything, and this is why XG can be misleading. Like, we had 2.5 XG and they had 0.1 or something like 0.2. But none of us are here saying, oh, it was a clear, we were miles better and all that kind of stuff. Because all these, when you boil any particular game down to a single number, you're going to miss a lot of context. I expect better from the performances. We got away with it today, like we have in a couple of other games this season. But I definitely think
I,
they're
I
going
don't
to
want
get better.
to. I know we don't have much time. Can I just ask Rax one question? Rax, when you say it's all about the results, don't you think now it's actually all about the performances because they lead to sustainable results?
Well, I think get the results first, because I think I'm pretty confident the performances will come in time anyway. So that's why I'm not so concerned. What the adaptation period is when you're more likely to lose points. Once we're clicking, once everything is moving smoothly, I think the results are much more likely to come. So that's the reason why I'd say we do it that way. And Burnley deserve credit as well. To be fair, Burnley deserve credit. They stuck their game plan.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, but I don't think you guys should be worried about performances right now. And people will go, that's hypocritical because you think that's what you care about with Man United. But this is where I think football fans have got to learn. I don't know how. I don't want to be. I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to end up offending people. We're not in the same situation. We're not in the same space right now. So the demand is very, very different. I'm going to go to Samuel in a second, but I just want to get Ash's take on this as an outsider, as a rival fan, because a lot of rivals going in on Liverpool right now, not good enough. They've scammed it, lucky penalty, etc. How do you view this win in the context of the beginning of Liverpool's season?
First of all, you had 27 shots. To have that many shots, you're going to make the other team make a mistake somewhere in there. It's how you ended up getting the penalty. It happens. I do think Kirkes needs to be looked at because bro lost his head. He flipping had to get taken off at 38 minutes because he was looking like he would have got another yellow. Obviously, Ugochukwu should have got sent off at 15 minutes. Like we really need to highlight the terrible refereeing that's been this weekend because every single big team has had a controversial topic, and they're going to try and brush it under the carpet, and it can't be. But yeah, you got to wait until Isak comes in. Obviously, Burnley was just playing 12 people behind the ball. They had flipping Scott Parker on the pitch, flipping in the box as well. It's always going to be hard to score stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you keep putting chances in like that, it'll eventually pay off, and it happened. Like Frimpong got brought on very late, and he's the one who got the penalty. So yeah, you've got quality to come on from the bench. Isak's going to get brought in. I am very surprised that he didn't have any part in this game because I know they say he's match fit, but at the end of the day, he's still been training and doing and obviously doing his own training. So I wouldn't expect him to be completely unfit to play 20 minutes of a game. But yeah. It's I don't think Liverpool have got much to worry about, if I'm being honest. And 12 points when a lot of us probably thought they shouldn't have 12 points, but they do.
12 points when you're not playing well. That's why, as much as I want to it's not sustainable. It's 12 points. Samuel, how about yourself? Obviously, you're very honest about Liverpool. You give it the big one when it's the right time to, but Mo Salah stepping up again, the fourth game in the bounce won with basically the last kick of the game. Break it down for us, bro.
It's not sustainable that we're winning it in the last 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. So that's not sustainable. But I will say to people that are maybe overreacting, especially Liverpool fans, from the first 4 games, what part of the performances haven't been good? So the first 2 games, we can all agree that it was the defense that wasn't good, not the attack, because we scored 4 goals against Bournemouth, and what was the next game? We scored 3 goals against Newcastle. So it clearly wasn't the attack; it was the defense. As we all was lambasting Kirkes, Konate, and so forth. The last 2 games, the defense has actually been good against Arsenal and Burnley. Hindsight, Arsenal didn't really offer anything, and Burnley, of course, they had a game plan practically to try and get a draw. That's it. They just parked the bus. But our defense has been okay. We got 2 clean sheets. It's the attack now. I've had this notion from the start of the season that I think it's going to take a little bit of time, the amount of players that we've bought, to integrate into the squad and play the way that Slot wants to play. Because the fact that we've got Szoboszlai at right back, which he has done well at, it just shows Slot just wants more familiarity with players in the team. Now, again, we're going to click. I have no issue about that. We are going to click. And when we click with Isak, it's going to be dirty. That's what I want to say. But again, listen, 4 games, 12 points, all wins. When you're playing rubbish and we're looking like this and we're still getting results, I have absolutely no problem. The only criticism I have today is that literally the build-up play was too slow. Even Ekitike, if you saw the picture of Ekitike at halftime, he was doing this. We need to get the ball faster, zip some balls in.
It was clunky, wasn't it? It wasn't
it was
as
very
slick
clunky,
as it needed to
very
be.
slow. It was annoying. But also, I do feel that Slot put on Rio and Frimpong on a little bit later than he should have. Now, we already spoke about Frimpong. Rio, there was one point, he did a step over, and passed it straight across to, what's his name, Frimpong, so he can have a shot. Those are the type of plays that with Rio and Frimpong, because they're so direct and they're so fast, they can unlock a defense like Burnley who are parking the bus. So maybe Slot needs to look at that a little bit more. But we're gonna click. Listen, I already said we're champions. Listen, we champions do what champions do.
No, I totally agree. I do think you're going to click. I do think that you're going to click. That's why, as much as I understand the challenge people are putting in, it's hard for me to criticize. Winning isn't winning like this for 2 years the definition of sustainability. Well,
no, the performance is unsustainable. Yeah. We have to be honest.
Yes.
And we also haven't won like this for 2 years. What kind of bullshit is this? We've won games like 4-0, 5-0, absolutely destroyed opponents. So
yeah. So Salah hasn't looked really that on it. So he needs to get his ball.
User here says Liverpool doesn't look good. Too many players on the pitch are not performing. Kirkes, Wirtz, and Salah has been terrible every game so far. Is what user says. Yeah, I mean, Salah isn't even a new signing, but there's still lots more to come from him as well because he's been nowhere near his levels, but still scoring goals, getting assists, and that penalty was massive. Look, this is going to redirect you to Husam's channel for the watch along for the Manchester derby. We'll be live after that. Back.
Come on, United.
So, hopefully we can do it today. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.